Narcissists, in my opinion, are evil hypnotists who use dark psychological tactics to change your view of self, perception of others, and world at large. Why? Of course, to establish maximum control. How do they do this? Well, they put you in a deep psychological trance. They continuously say or do things to brainwash you into thinking, rather believing that you are the problem. And it's not just a thought that you think. It feels like it's your reality. When a narcissist convinces you that you are overly sensitive, you just don't think that you are. You feel you are. You believe that is who you are, which is how they keep you trapped, and it becomes possible for them to abuse you for such a long time. Let's talk about all of this further in today's episode. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional and a psychologist. In today's episode, we are going to talk about 5 evil psychological tactics a narcissist uses to break your mind. If that sounds interesting and you're eager to learn more, please make sure to subscribe before we begin, because your subscription to the channel may help in spreading awareness about narcissistic abuse. Number 1, they give you a lot of silence. In the world of narcissistic abuse, we call it giving silent treatment. I personally call it psychological strangulation, because they truly choke you through their absence. When you do not do things the way they want you to do them, when you take a stand against them or try to establish a boundary which they want to violate, they will give you silence, because they know by withdrawing, by giving you silent treatment, they will be able to break your will. They will be able to cause massive psychological injury and trigger worst of the worst coping mechanisms or trauma responses, one of which is fawning. You won't be able to tolerate their absence for a long time. They know that. You will come back being more compliant and obedient. Now, why is this an evil psychological tactic? As humans, we have evolved to thrive through connection. In isolation, we wither away. And that is the reason why there is something called healthy dependency. We need to depend on others. Unfortunately, nowadays, depending on others is seen as something disgusting and weird in the world of self-help and self-development. But in true psychological terms, dependency is necessary. We need it. And that is what a narcissist takes advantage of, be it a parent or a partner. They know by abandoning you, by withholding affection, by not talking to you, they will abuse you so much so that you will just give up on all your wishes, everything, and you will come to them. Number 2, they use hyper-suggestibility. What does that mean? That simply means they say the same thing again and again and again and again for a prolonged duration until you start believing it. Think about it this way. If a mosquito bites you on your arm one time, it wouldn't bother you. You'll scratch it a little bit and it'll be gone. But if the same mosquito bites you on the same spot again and again, a million times, what will happen to you? Of course, you will become hypervigilant, wouldn't you? You'll become paranoid. There will be inflammation. Something similar happens to your brain and body when you are with a narcissist who constantly keeps telling you things like, you are making it up. It never happened. You're having memory lapses. You don't remember it the right way. I never said it. You're feeling it the wrong way. And something like that, something along those lines. Now, they don't say it one time. They don't say it 2 times. They keep saying it again and again and again and again and again and again until it becomes your reality. If you say something enough times, people are going to start believing it. That's how our brain works. It penetrates through our conscious mind into our subconscious, where then it automatically starts controlling our behavior because we believe it. It becomes our belief. In the world of hypnosis, you see, how do you change a particular behavior? Let's say it's a hypnotherapist and they put somebody in a state of deep trance. How would they be able to change, let's say, the bad, undesirable behavior and get a desirable one? They'll keep suggesting things. If they are more overt in their approach, they'll say, you will now go to deep sleep and always remember to relax when you try to go to sleep on your own. Something along those lines, okay? And they connect the dots and they put those things in your subconscious mind. And then when you wake up, you feel like that. That's exactly what happens. And why? Why does it happen so? As a hypnotherapist, I can tell you a narcissist bypasses your critical factor, the factor that analyzes things, rationalizes things. They break it through their abuse, making you more vulnerable to what they say about you. Number 3, they use honesty to build rapport. They know in the beginning your defenses are going to be really up there. And to win your trust, they have to demonstrate some kind of honesty. They know you will be testing them consciously, subconsciously, and they have to bring your guard down. So they will make it seem like they're a man of the words. Their words match their actions, and they will show up only to not show up later. Once they win your trust, then they start abusing you. Then they start manipulating you, subtly breaking you. And your brain is not able to detect abuse. Why? Because of its preconceived notion of who this person is. Oh, they're honest, they're truthful, they're kind, they can never do it. I must be making it up. They hijack your value system to weaponize it against you. For example, if you believe in honesty, if it is one of the most important values, they will demonstrate honesty. And what does that do to your subconscious mind? That marks this person as safe, because you see what we call a reverse projection of your good qualities in them. Once marked safe, everything else doesn't get filtered in your brain. For example, now that your brain has assumed they're honest, it's also going to assume they're safe, they're truthful. They have a working moral compass. Their conscience is alive. They're open. There is integrity. There is congruence and whatsoever, which may not be there. But they trick you into thinking about them a certain way. That's why I said at the beginning, they change your perception of who they are. Number 4, and a very dark tactic. When taking responsibility, instead of using I, they use we. What does that do? That naturally makes you think, oh, it takes two to tango. You cannot clap with only one hand. I must have done something wrong for them to react that way. Essentially, I must have done something to make them act that way. It's not said, but it is subliminal messaging. It is the subtle messaging in saying, oh, we both messed up. We both are flawed, when abuse is never a victim's fault. But they make it seem like, oh, we need to take responsibility for our actions. You need to take for yours, I need to take for mine. This is what I call pseudo-reflection. They make it seem like, oh, they're reflecting, they're able to take responsibility, which is going to trick you into thinking, oh, they can change, and then there is hope. And it's a very convoluted way of future faking you. And there is nothing to hold on to. You are in a free fall, and they give you this illusion that, oh, this is something that you can hold on to. And instead of saying, I messed up, and taking full radical responsibility for their actions and not involving you at all, they share it. You take the burden of this, I take the burden of that, when it's only them who cheated on you, them who hit you, yelled at you, screamed, and did all the abusive stuff. That's how our brain thinks, oh, probably it's normal. It's a normal relationship. I can keep taking it. Number 5, and the last one. They indebt you with a lot of favors. Now, this is not something that every narcissist does, but those who can be labeled as altruistic or communal narcissists use this tactic. They will keep doing things for you, unasked for, non-consensually. They'll give you gifts. They'll buy you expensive stuff. They'll take you to places, but it's all done in the guise of, oh, I value you. Don't worry about it. I have that kind of money. It's fine by me. I'm okay with it. Let me do it. Please, I beg you. Please let me. What they are actually doing is they are building you up to feel guilty. We call that guilty conscience. So that when they make a big request later, you won't be able to say no at all. This is one of the most disgusting way of manipulating somebody, because it's not direct manipulation. They're not telling you, oh, you're crazy, you're making it up. No, they're being all nice. Let me do it. Here is this ring for you. Here is this thing for you. Oh, let me take you out on a dinner, please. That would make me feel so happy. And you go like, oh, maybe that's fine. Probably this person wants to get closer to me, and probably they're trying to establish a relationship here, so why not? It's safe, it seems, but what you do not know is that they're trapping you like a spider. They're weaving their web around you only to make you feel helpless later when they make a big request after favoring you enough, because they know when they will ask for that one thing or whatever it is, when they will start controlling you, you won't say no out of your own shame, out of your own guilt. How horrible is that? These are the worst types of narcissists that I know of. Which one of these tactics have you personally been a victim of? Drop your answers in the comments, and always remember, the dynamics of a narcissistic relationship, be it parental or romantic, are extremely, I say extremely complicated. A person who has not experienced narcissistic abuse in any form has no right whatsoever to ask you questions like, oh, why did you put up with that? Why did you stay for that long? Why didn't you leave earlier? Oh, it's your fault. You let him do that to you. He is an abuser. She is an abuser. It's her or his job. They will do it. It's your fault that you stayed. I just don't understand why this blind enabling for these abusers instead of trying to put a stop to this. Why say, oh, they're like that? Why? Why? And why take your anger out on this victim who's already suffering and struggling, probably because they're an easy target. So anybody, no matter who it is, if they ask you questions like these, they deserve to go away from you. Cut them off. With that, let's bring this episode to an end. Thank you so much for listening and for tuning in. If you found this one helpful, please share it with others in the groups that you are a part of. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.